cigarette, we just need to, take a puff of that particular cigarette. One electronic cartridge will be there into that cigarette. One liquid will be there. So it contains the flavor as well. So here the flavor is Woosh Solo. Woosh Solo is nothing but the brand name of that particular cigarette, right? So what we are measuring here in this trial, we are measuring the nicotine uptake by the smokers. So once the smokers take the puff of that particular electronic cigarette, so the smoke will go into the human body, and from the lungs the nicotine will be absorbed into the blood, right? So we are measuring the nicotine content of nicotine absorbed by the human into the blood. So that is the purpose of this particular trial. Then we will check the pharmacokinetics of the nicotine and safety of the patient. Like this much amount of nicotine, if it is absorbed by the body, then whether it is safe or not. Right? So that is the purpose of this particular trial. Any question in this title? So it is unblinded. Unblinded means what? Even the patient and the doctors and the sponsor know like which electronic cigarette I am taking. So there is no blinding. Blinding means what? We mask the product. Like which particular product we are giving or which particular tablet or drug we are giving to the patient, that is blinded. No one knows. Okay. To avoid the biasness of our result, we generally do the blinded study. But this particular study is unblinded. Everyone knows. Like we are taking the nicotine through the electronic cigarette. This is parallel design study. So one patient will receive only the one electronic cigarette. Right? It is randomized study. So in this particular trial, we have 4 flavor of cigarettes. So 4 flavor of cigarette will be randomized among the patients randomly. Right? So that is the study title. This is the first page of the protocol. Okay, some sponsor information will be there in this protocol. It is very confidential document. Okay. It will be approved by the principal investigator, and principal investigator is generally the MD pharmacology doctor, right? So this is TOC, that is table of content. So what is the content of this particular protocol, right? So first will be abbreviation, that is short forms of the whatever short forms we have used in this protocol, that full form will be given. Then synopsis, then introduction. In introduction, some background will be there about the trial, right? Then study objective and endpoints. What is the objective of this particular trial, and what is the endpoint? Endpoint is nothing but final conclusion. What is the conclusion of our trial? Whether the nicotine content is safe or not. If it is safe, then up to how much amount it is safe. So that is called endpoint. So these are all the scientific terms. You should be aware about it, because when you go into the industry, most of time you will hear about this terminology: study objectives, endpoints, likewise. So
Sir,
here,
if they have
yeah.
already given you endpoint, that means that they know what is the end result of the study. That means they have already done some sort of pre-analysis, plots and graphs themselves.
No, it's not like that. Endpoints means what? What we are going to conclude, whether it is safe or not. Either we know only 2 possibilities are there: whether it is safe or whether it is unsafe. So that we are going to conclude from our study results, right? Final endpoints, final conclusion, you can say. Clear? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Then a study design. Like what is the design of the study? Whether it is parallel design study, whether it is crossover design study, and the detail of the study design will be given in this particular section. Then subject selection. So what kind of population we are going to select in this particular trial? So but obvious we are going to select smokers only. We are not going to select non-smokers, right? So there are some screening criteria, like between what age and which genders we are going to select in this particular trial, right? Then one section will be there of investigational product. So they will give some idea and details about the investigation product. Investigation product is nothing but our study drug. So here our product is electronic cigarette. So you can say it is a device trial. Okay, it is not a drug. So we are doing the electronic cigarette device trial, and we are going to measure the nicotine absorption into the body of human smokers. You call, or you can say patients, right? So brief idea about the investigation product will be given in this particular section. Then study procedures. So how we are going to conduct this particular activity, like up to at what time we are going to enroll the subject into our clinic, right? Whether we are going to do this particular activity in fasting condition or in fed condition, whether we are up to how much time we are allowing patient to take the cigarette puffs. So all these procedures will be given in this study procedures, right? What diet and fluid we are going to allow during this particular trial, and up to how much amount, or how up to how much time we are going to take the blood from the patient to construct the area under the curve, because we are going to measure the pk of the nicotine into the body. So we are going to measure the pk of nicotine, like AUC, Cmax and Tmax. So these three are the primary pk parameters that we are going to measure. So each and every procedure in detail will be given in this particular section, right? Then we are going to measure the adverse events. So what is the definition of our adverse event? Which kind of adverse events we are going to measure in our trial? What is serious adverse event? What is the follow-up? What is the effect of nicotine uptake in pregnancy? So everything we are going to measure in this particular section, adverse event section. Then one section, this is very important section, that is section 9, pharmacokinetic and statistical analysis. So how we are going to perform the pharmacokinetic analysis, what we are going to measure in this pharmacokinetic analysis, and what we are going to conclude, and what are the statistical procedures and analysis we are going to consider to find out our endpoints. So all these details will be given in this particular section, PK and statistical analysis. Then some regulatory, or you can say some administrative aspects will be given in this section 10. Like what are the ethics committee, and what are the regulatory concerns we are going to take in this particular trial. If we are going to do any protocol deviation, then we need to file this deviation, whether it is acceptable or not. So all these terms and conditions are given in this particular administrative aspect section, right? Then some appendix will be there, so we will see it one by one, right? And also in some of the trial, they will give the content of TFLs, that is tables, figures and listings. So what are the TFLs that we are going to create for our data that we are going to collect through this trial? So as I said, some abbreviations are given in this section. So full forms, whatever short forms we have used. So what is the meaning of this particular short form? That will be given in abbreviation section. Right. Then synopsis. In synopsis, you will be given study title, their objectives of the study, and design of the study. Some brief idea about the entire trial is given in this synopsis section. Okay. So study title, we know it is unblinded parallel randomized study to assess the nicotine uptake in smokers from wood solo plus electronic cigarettes. So here, what is the study objective? So objective is to determine the rate and amount of nicotine uptake with 10-minute ad libitum use of four different marketed electronic cigarettes. Okay, so here we are going to compare four flavor of electronic cigarettes in patients, and we are going to measure the nicotine uptake when they smoke for the 10 minutes. So we are allowing patients to do the smoking for 10 minutes here, and we are going to measure how much amount and up to what rate the nicotine is going to absorb into the bloodstream through lungs. Okay, so that is the study objective, right? Furthermore, we are going to measure the overall product liking by subject, like which flavor they like it the most. So we are going to give a rating from 1 to 10. So patients will give the rating whether they like the product or dislike the product. So that is the also the part of our study objective, right? What is the study design? So here we are, they have brief about the study design. So it is a single center. So only in one clinic they are enrolling the patient. So it is randomized, open label. There won't be no any blinding. Everyone will know about the product. Parallel cohort study during which up to 120 healthy adult subjects will be enrolled. So we are going to perform this trial on 120 subjects. So we are going to compare four products, right? Four flavor of products. So each cohort is nothing but the group of the patient. So here we are going to bifurcate the 120 patients or healthy subjects into the four groups for the four flavor of electronic cigarette. So each group will contain 30 subjects, right? So randomly we will assign these four flavor of electronic cigarettes among these 140 healthy subjects. Okay. So what are the four flavor of cigarettes? Whose soul is brand? So one flavor is original, second is mint, third is melon, and fourth flavor is tropical. So we are going to compare these four flavors. Okay. Then some criteria for inclusion and exclusion will be given in synopsis. So inclusion exclusion criteria is nothing but they have defined some conditions, some parameters, like you can only enroll these patients only in our trial. Okay, so their age should be between 20 to 60. Okay. Exclusive cigarette smokers who self report smoking at least greater than 10 cigarettes per day for at least 6 months. So we are going to enroll only the smokers, not the healthy person who are not doing any smoking. Right? So there are some parameters they will give into this inclusion exclusion criteria. Okay, some exclusion criteria will also there into this trial. So his systolic blood pressure is greater than 160, we are not going to enroll those patients. Likewise, some parameters will be given. This is not so much important as a programmer, but at least you should know. Okay. So detail of product, four flavors, duration of study. Okay, so total duration of each subject's participation from screening visit to the study discharge will be approximately 7 weeks. Okay, so in screening visit, we are going to do the screening of the subjects. So we are going to assess the subjects based on this inclusion and exclusion criteria, right? So it is called screening visit. After screening visit, they will, give the cigarette to the patients. They will do the randomization and they will assign each cigarette to the patient. After that, they will allow the patient to do the smoking, and once the blood will be withdrawn from the patients, then they will be kept for in the clinic for around 7 weeks, and then they will get a discharge because they will assess some follow-up adverse effect also. So these are the study endpoints. As I said, what are the endpoints? That is final conclusion. What we are going to conclude finally. So what are the parameters that we need to, do the final conclusion? So these are the parameters. Okay, so IP products to be studied are four types of electronic cigarettes randomized across the study objective. Primary objective is to assess the nicotine uptake over 60 minutes from a 10-minute ad libitum IP use period. Okay, so we are going to allow the cigarette for 10 minutes, and we are going to measure the content or the amount of nicotine in our body for 60 minutes. So up to 60 minutes we are going to take the bloods from the patient's body at a different time interval, and we are going to assess the entire AUC and PK parameters. So we are going to measure the Cmax, that is maximum baseline adjusted nicotine plasma concentration, AUC nicotine 0 to 60, that is area under the curve from time 0 to 60 minutes. So these two are the main PK parameter that we are going to assess. Okay, and the secondary objective is to assess the Tmax. That is another third PK parameter, and AUC nicotine 0 to 15. So we are going to measure area under the curve from 0 to 15 minutes. Okay, and we are also going to measure the product likeliness, like which product they like the most, right? Any question up to this, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, so did you understood like what is the purpose of our trial, why we are going to conduct this trial?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so as a programmer you need to first read the protocol properly, like what are the purpose, what are the objectives, and what are the endpoints of our trial. Based on that you will start your programming, right? Then one section will be given like what are the statistical methods that we are going to use, right? Then some safety assessment, what are the safety assessment we are going to perform in our trials. So we are going to measure the blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate, oral temperature. Okay, some physical examination will be done of patients, urine pregnancy screening, some vital sign measurement, ECG, some other AEs will be measured into this particular trial. Then confinement and returns. Okay, so up to how much time the subject will remain into the clinic. Then some pharmacokinetic samples. So we are going to measure mainly for 0 to 60 minutes, right? So up at which time point interval we are going to collect the bloods, right? So we are going to collect the blood at 3, 5, 8, 10, 11, 12, 15, 20, 30 and 60 minutes. Then only we will construct the entire AUC. Correct? Then bioanalytical sample analysis. So whatever bloods we are going to collect from the patient, those samples will be analyzed into the bioanalytical department to measure the amount of nicotine in body. Okay. So that was about the synopsis section. So in synopsis, you will get the overview of entire trial, right? Then some introduction section will be there. Okay, some background will be there about the cigarettes. Then public health discussion of electronic cigarette. So these particular things, they collect from the article, research article. Whatever research we have done till now, those information will be given in this section. Okay. Then nicotine uptake from electronic cigarette. So some background information about the nicotine and how it is absorbed into the body. What are the research we have done till now? All this information will be given here. Then study rationale. What is the rationale of this study? Why we are going to conduct this study? What is the benefit of public by doing this study? This rationale will be given here. Then study objective and endpoints. So details about the primary objective and secondary objective and their endpoints will be given here. So this information is already given in synopsis, but only the introductory part. Here they will give in detail. Then study design. What is the design of the study?